Have you noticed the strange signs lately? The repeated numbers. The dreams that feel too real. The random name that keeps appearing in your mind. What if I told you it is not random at all? Because God has already chosen your life partner for 2026. And before this video ends, you may realize you already know this person. So subscribe right now, like this video, and comment, "I trust God's timing," because something powerful is about to unfold in your life. And stay until the end, because there is one shocking sign that almost nobody notices before meeting the person they are destined to love. You did not click on this video by accident. There is a reason your spirit felt pulled here. For months, maybe even years, you have been asking God the same question. Who is the person meant for me? Why have I waited so long? Why do relationships keep failing? And deep inside, you started wondering if real love was even meant for you. But hear this clearly. God was never ignoring your prayers. He was protecting your future. Some people entered your life only to teach you lessons. Others came to reveal wounds you still needed to heal. And some people were removed because they would have destroyed your peace later. You cried over people who were never assigned to your destiny. You begged for relationships that heaven quietly blocked. And now, looking back, you finally understand why certain doors never opened. Because your true life partner was never supposed to arrive during the season when you were broken. God knew the timing had to be perfect. 2026 is not just another year for you. It is a turning point. Spiritually, emotionally, romantically. The person entering your life will not feel like chaos. They will feel like peace. And that is how you will know this connection is different. Most toxic relationships begin with confusion. Hot and cold behavior. Mixed signals. Anxiety. Fear. Silence. But when God chooses someone for you, the connection carries clarity. Not games. Not manipulation. Not emotional exhaustion. This person will not make you question your worth every night. They will not disappear when life gets difficult. They will not punish you for being emotional. Instead, they will feel strangely familiar. Like your soul already recognizes them. And here is where it gets shocking. Many of you have already crossed paths with this person before. Yes, you heard that correctly. The person God has chosen for your future may already exist somewhere in your current world. Maybe you ignored them. Maybe timing separated you. Maybe distance got in the way. Maybe fear kept both of you silent. But heaven has a strange way of reconnecting people who belong together. Watch carefully over the next few months. Pay attention to the people who suddenly reappear. The old friend who randomly messages you. The unexpected conversation. The person you cannot stop thinking about for no logical reason. Because spiritual connections do not disappear. They wait for divine timing. And this is where psychology becomes fascinating. Human beings are naturally drawn toward emotional familiarity. Not because it is always healthy, but because the brain searches for emotional patterns it already understands. That is why many people repeat toxic relationships over and over. The brain confuses familiar pain with love. But God is about to break that cycle in your life. The person chosen for you will challenge your old emotional patterns. At first, it may even feel unfamiliar, because peace feels strange after years of emotional chaos. You may wonder, why do I feel calm around them? Why am I not anxious? Why am I not overthinking every message? Because healthy love does not torture your mind. Read that again in your spirit. Healthy love does not torture your mind. The enemy convinced many people that obsession equals romance. That jealousy equals passion. That emotional instability equals deep connection. But real love feels safe. Real love protects your nervous system. Real love allows your soul to breathe. And the person God is preparing for you will help heal parts of you that nobody else understood. They will notice the sadness behind your smile. They will hear the pain hidden in your silence. They will see your heart instead of just your appearance. And one night, during an ordinary conversation, you will suddenly realize something terrifying and beautiful at the same time. You are no longer afraid to be yourself. That is when true love begins. Not when butterflies appear. Not when attraction explodes. But when fear disappears. And now let me tell you something even deeper. Before God sends the right person into your life, He often isolates you first. Have you noticed that lately? You stopped enjoying fake conversations. You became tired of meaningless attention. You started protecting your energy more than ever before. Some friendships faded. Certain relationships collapsed. You felt alone more often. That isolation was not punishment. It was preparation. God was teaching you how to hear your own soul again. Because if too many voices surround you, you cannot recognize the voice of the person truly meant for you. And here comes the part that will shock many viewers. The name connected to your future partner may already be appearing around you repeatedly. You see it online, in movies, on social media, at random places, in conversations. And every time you hear that name, something inside you reacts emotionally. Do not ignore that feeling. Now listen carefully. I am not saying every repeated name is magically your soulmate. But spiritually, repetition often acts as a signal. Your subconscious notices patterns before your conscious mind understands them. Psychologists call this selective attention. Spiritually, many believe it is divine alignment. And when both psychology and spirituality point toward the same person, powerful things begin to happen. Suddenly you feel connected before commitment exists. You dream about them unexpectedly. You sense their emotions from far away. You think about them at the exact moment they text you. Some of you watching this video have already experienced this. And you tried to dismiss it as coincidence. But not everything is coincidence. There are moments when God whispers through patterns instead of words. And here is another sign your future partner is near. You are becoming the version of yourself you prayed to become. Think about who you were 2 years ago. The insecurity, the emotional confusion, the desperation for validation. Now look at yourself today. You still have healing to do, yes. But you are stronger, wiser, more emotionally aware. That growth is not random. God does not send kingdom-level love into a mind still addicted to self-destruction. First, He transforms you. Because the right relationship requires emotional maturity from both people. Many viewers think love is about finding the right person. But spiritually, it is also about becoming the right person. And that transformation changes everything. The version of you that tolerated disrespect is dying. The version of you that begged for love is disappearing. The version of you that chased emotionally unavailable people is finally waking up. And because your standards are changing, your future is changing too. Now let me reveal something most people never realize until it is too late. Your future partner may enter your life very quietly. Not dramatically. Not like a movie scene. Not with fireworks and chaos. At first, they may simply feel comfortable. The conversation flows naturally. Time moves differently around them. You feel emotionally seen. And strangely enough, silence between you does not feel awkward. That matters more than people understand. Because when two souls truly align, silence becomes peaceful instead of uncomfortable. And the strongest relationships are not built only on attraction. They are built on emotional safety. You can tell this person your fears without shame. You can express your emotions without being mocked. You can be imperfect without fearing abandonment. That is rare in today's world. Many people know how to flirt. Very few know how to love. But the person chosen for you will know the difference. And yes, there will still be challenges. Do not misunderstand me. Even divinely guided relationships require effort. Communication, patience, growth, but there is a difference between difficult and destructive. Healthy love may challenge you, but it will never constantly destroy your peace. And if someone repeatedly breaks your spirit, confuses your mind, and drains your soul, that is not divine love. God's love restores. It does not continuously damage. Now here is the mini cliffhanger I promised at the beginning. There is one strange sign many people experience shortly before meeting their future life partner. And almost nobody talks about it. Right before the right person arrives, many people experience emotional exhaustion with dating itself. You suddenly lose interest in chasing people. You become tired of superficial conversations. You stop forcing connections. You stop begging for attention. And strangely, right after surrender happens, the right person appears. Why? Because desperation blocks discernment. When people are emotionally desperate, they ignore red flags. They force unhealthy relationships because they fear loneliness. But surrender creates clarity. And clarity helps you recognize what is truly meant for you. So if you recently reached a point where you said, "I'm done chasing. I'm done forcing love. I'm leaving this in God's hands," that may actually be the sign your season is changing. Your soul becomes ready for alignment when it stops running after confusion. And there is someone watching this right now who desperately needed to hear that. You thought giving up meant failure. But spiritually, surrender often means preparation. Now let's talk about the shocking part. The title of this video says the name will shock you. And here is why. Sometimes the person chosen for you is not the person your ego expected. It may not be the perfect image you imagined. It may not be the most popular person. It may not be someone who immediately impresses everyone else. But spiritually, emotionally, mentally, they fit your soul perfectly. God looks at compatibility differently than humans do. Humans chase appearance, status, attention, excitement, but God sees hearts, intentions, character, emotional integrity. That is why some relationships that look perfect collapse quickly. And some quiet, unexpected relationships last forever. Your future partner may shock you because they heal you in ways you never expected. They may love you exactly where others rejected you. They may understand emotions you struggled to explain. They may enter your life during the moment you least expect love to arrive. And suddenly, everything changes. Your mornings feel lighter. Your anxiety decreases. Your faith grows stronger. Your heart softens again. You stop surviving emotionally and start living again. That is what divine love does. It reminds you that your heart was never too damaged to be loved correctly. Somebody listening right now has almost lost hope in love completely. After betrayal, after heartbreak, after disappointment, after waiting for years, you secretly told yourself, maybe love is just not for me. But hear me carefully. Delayed does not mean denied. Just because your story happened slowly does not mean your blessing disappeared. Some people meet their soulmate early. Others meet them after transformation. Neither story is inferior. In fact, many spiritually deep connections happen later because both souls needed growth first. So stop comparing your timeline to everybody else online. Social media only shows highlights. It does not show the emotional suffering behind many relationships. Some couples look happy publicly while privately feeling emotionally disconnected. Meanwhile, your future love story is still being built carefully by God. And when it finally arrives, it will make sense why you had to wait. One conversation will change your life. One unexpected meeting. One moment. One connection. That is all it takes for destiny to shift. And I believe many viewers watching this are closer than they realize. Especially the people who keep seeing repeated signs lately. The people who feel emotionally transformed recently. The people who suddenly feel their old identity falling apart. That is not random. Your spirit recognizes when a new chapter is approaching. And before this video ends, I want you to do something important. Close your eyes tonight before sleeping. Pray honestly. Not desperately. Not fearfully. Just honestly. Ask God for clarity instead of control. Ask for discernment instead of obsession. Ask for peace instead of fantasy. Because the right relationship should bring peace into your spirit, not confusion into your mind. And when the right person finally enters your life, you will notice something beautiful. You will stop asking for constant signs. Because certainty will replace anxiety. You will not need to decode every text message. You will not fear abandonment every night. You will not constantly question where you stand. The connection will feel emotionally consistent. And consistency is one of the greatest love languages of all. Not empty promises. Not intense words. Not temporary passion. Consistency. The ability to stay. To communicate. To choose each other repeatedly. That is real love. And your future partner will understand that. Now I want you to pay attention to the next 30 days after watching this video. Watch the signs carefully. Watch the dreams. Watch the repeated names. Watch the unexpected reconnections. Watch the emotional shifts happening inside you. Something is moving spiritually around your love life. And I do not believe this message reached you accidentally. Somebody watching this is entering the most important romantic season of their life. Not because they finally became perfect, but because they finally became emotionally ready. And that changes everything. If this message touched your spirit, subscribe right now because this channel exists to guide souls who feel lost, emotionally exhausted, or spiritually confused. Like this video so more people can receive this message exactly when they need it. And in the comments, write this powerful affirmation. God is preparing the right love for me. Because words carry energy. And sometimes speaking hope out loud is the first step toward receiving it. Your story is not over. Your heart is not forgotten. Your future love is not impossible. And somewhere, maybe closer than you think, the person chosen for you is slowly moving toward your life at this exact moment. And there is something else you need to understand before this chapter of your life begins. Not everyone around you will recognize the connection when it appears. Some people will question it. Some will misunderstand it. Some may even try to pull you away from it because it does not match their expectations. But divine connections are not always understood by outside eyes. Sometimes God sends someone into your life who completely changes your emotional world in ways other people cannot see. They calm your anxiety. They strengthen your faith. They inspire your growth. They awaken parts of your soul that have been sleeping for years. And suddenly, you become a different person around them. You laugh more. You overthink less. You feel emotionally safe for the first time in a long time. That is why you must stop asking everyone else for approval about your future love story. Not every connection needs public validation to be real. And this is important because many people sabotage divine relationships by listening to fearful voices around them. one negative opinion, one jealous friend, one bitter person projecting their pain onto your happiness. Do not let broken people define your future. The right relationship will not make everyone comfortable, but it will bring peace into your spirit. And peace is powerful. Now let me reveal another shocking sign: your future partner is getting closer. You have started healing childhood wounds without fully realizing it. This is deep psychology. Many adults unconsciously search for relationships that repeat emotional experiences from childhood. If they grew up feeling unseen, they chase emotionally distant people. If they grew up around instability, chaos feels normal to them. If they lacked affection, they become addicted to validation. But recently, something has been changing inside you. You are beginning to notice unhealthy patterns faster. You are setting boundaries more confidently. You are protecting your emotional energy differently. That growth matters more than you think. Because healed people attract differently than wounded people. And the version of you entering 2026 is no longer willing to abandon yourself just to keep someone else. That alone is going to change your entire love story. Somebody needs to hear this tonight. You were never too much. You were simply giving your love to people who lack the emotional capacity to receive it correctly. There is a difference. Your future partner will not punish you for caring deeply. They will appreciate your heart instead of exploiting it. And one day, you will look back at your old heartbreaks with completely different eyes. You will realize those endings were not rejections. They were redirections. God was not removing love from your life. He was removing counterfeits. That is why certain people disappeared suddenly. That is why communications stopped unexpectedly. That is why relationships collapsed even when you tried your hardest to save them. Because some connections were never meant to follow you into your next season. And yes, it hurt. But not every painful ending is punishment. Sometimes it is protection. Now I want you to think about this carefully. Have you noticed how your standards are changing lately? You no longer care only about physical attraction. You now value emotional maturity, consistency, communication, spiritual alignment, kindness. That shift is not random. Your soul is evolving. The old version of you may have chased excitement, but the healed version of you now craves peace. And peace is exactly what your future relationship will bring. Not perfect peace, not a fantasy, but the kind of peace where you no longer feel emotionally unsafe every day. The kind of peace where you can finally rest your heart. And when that love arrives, it may scare you at first. Because people who survive emotional pain often struggle to trust healthy love in the beginning. You may question their intentions. You may wait for them to suddenly change. You may prepare yourself for abandonment, even when they are giving you no reason to fear. That reaction is normal after heartbreak. But the right person will not mock your healing process. They will be patient with your heart. They will communicate instead of disappearing. They will reassure instead of manipulating. And slowly, your nervous system will begin to understand something new. Love does not always have to hurt. Read that in your spirit again. Love does not always have to hurt. Some of you have connected pain so deeply with romance that peaceful love almost feels suspicious. But peace is not boredom. Peace is emotional security. There is a massive difference. And once you experience emotionally safe love, you will never want chaotic love again. Now here is something fascinating spiritually. Many people experience increased intuition shortly before meeting someone important to their destiny. Dreams become more vivid. Your emotions become stronger. You feel spiritually alert. Your instincts sharpen. And sometimes, you feel like your soul is preparing for someone before your mind understands why. That feeling is real. Never underestimate intuition that arrives with peace instead of fear. Fear screams. Intuition whispers. And many viewers watching this already know exactly who keeps appearing in their spirit right now. There is a name in your mind while hearing these words. A face, a memory, a connection you cannot fully explain. If that is happening to you, comment, "I feel the connection." Because energy moves powerfully when people speak honestly about what their soul recognizes. And let me tell you something else that may shock you. Your future partner may also be praying for you right now. Imagine that for a moment. Somewhere in this world, another soul may be asking God for the exact kind of love you are asking for. They may also be healing, growing, preparing emotionally. And while you are wondering if love is coming, they may be wondering the same thing about you. That is the beautiful mystery of divine timing. Two people can be separated for years, while heaven quietly prepares both hearts for the same future meeting. And when the timing finally aligns, everything changes quickly. That is why some relationships suddenly become serious faster than expected. When emotional maturity, spiritual alignment, and divine timing meet together, clarity happens naturally. You do not need endless games. You do not need manipulation. You do not need confusion. You simply know. Not because the relationship is perfect, but because peace confirms what fear used to distort. And somebody listening to this message is about to experience that shift sooner than they realize. The loneliness you feel now is temporary. The waiting season is temporary. The confusion is temporary. Do not allow temporary emotions to convince you that permanent love is impossible. Because your story is still unfolding. And years from now, you may look back at this exact season and realize it was the moment everything quietly began changing. So before this video ends, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Stop chasing people who constantly make you feel unwanted. Stop forcing connections that drain your spirit. Stop begging for love that should come naturally. You deserve mutual effort, mutual respect, mutual emotional safety. And the person chosen for you will recognize your value without needing to be convinced repeatedly. That is the kind of love God wants for you. Not temporary attention. Not inconsistent affection. Real partnership. A connection where both people grow together instead of destroying each other emotionally. If you still believe love is coming into your life, comment right now. My heart is ready. And if there is a specific name that keeps appearing in your spirit lately, comment only the first initial. Sometimes the smallest signs reveal the biggest truths later. Subscribe right now because the next message on this channel may be exactly what your soul needs during this season of transformation. Like this video if you believe God is aligning your future relationship at the perfect time. And remember this tonight before you sleep. The love meant for you will not require you to lose yourself in order to keep it. The right person will not dim your light. They will help you shine brighter. And somewhere between healing, faith, timing, and destiny, your story is already beginning. And there is one final truth: most people are never taught about soulmate connections. Sometimes the greatest sign is not what happens around you. It is what happens inside you. You begin feeling emotionally different before the person even arrives. Your tolerance for toxic behavior decreases. Your desire for superficial attention fades away. You stop entertaining conversations that drain your spirit. You begin protecting your peace like something sacred. That transformation is powerful. Because when your soul matures, your relationships change automatically. You no longer chase people who confuse you. You no longer romanticize inconsistency. You no longer beg for effort from emotionally unavailable people. And this shift scares some people around you. Why? Because healed energy is harder to manipulate. The old version of you may have accepted crumbs just to avoid loneliness. But the new version of you understands something important. Loneliness is painful, but losing yourself is worse. And that realization changes everything. The person God has chosen for your future will never require you to betray your own soul just to keep the relationship alive. Instead, they will inspire you to become more yourself. That is what divine love does. It does not erase your identity. It strengthens it. And many viewers are entering a season where their entire understanding of love is about to evolve. The old fantasy is collapsing. The illusion is breaking. The emotional addictions are fading. And in their place, something healthier is growing. Emotional wisdom, discernment, self-respect, spiritual clarity. Now listen carefully because this part is important. The enemy of your future relationship may not always be another person. Sometimes the greatest obstacle is fear. Fear of being hurt again. Fear of abandonment. Fear of trusting the wrong person. Fear that happiness will disappear the moment you finally allow yourself to feel it. Many people sabotage healthy love because trauma trained them to expect pain. So when something peaceful enters their life, they become suspicious. They overthink. They panic. They emotionally withdraw before the relationship even has a chance to grow. If this sounds familiar, hear this message clearly. Not everybody who loves you will leave you. Read that slowly in your spirit. Not everybody who loves you will leave you. Your past experiences may explain your fear, but they do not have to control your future forever. Healing means learning how to receive healthy love without running away from it. And yes, that takes courage. Real courage is not pretending you do not care. Real courage is allowing yourself to be emotionally seen again after disappointment. That is difficult, but it is also beautiful. And your future partner will help create an environment where vulnerability no longer feels dangerous. That is one of the deepest forms of intimacy two souls can share. Not just attraction, not just chemistry, emotional safety, the ability to reveal your real self without fear of rejection. And when you finally experience that kind of connection, something incredible happens inside your nervous system. Your body relaxes. Your anxiety decreases. Your mind becomes quieter. Your heart stops preparing for emotional war all the time. That is how many people realize they have finally encountered the right person. Not because everything is perfect, but because their soul no longer feels exhausted by love. And somebody watching this right now is about to enter that season sooner than they think. Especially the viewers who recently walked away from something toxic. I know it hurt. I know part of you still questions whether you made the right decision. I know loneliness sometimes tries to convince you to return to situations that damaged your peace. But hear this carefully. Never go back to a place where your soul had to shrink just to survive. The relationship God has prepared for you will not require emotional self-destruction. You will not constantly feel unloved, ignored, confused, emotionally abandoned. Instead, the connection will grow through mutual effort. And that may feel unfamiliar at first, because many people grew up believing love must be difficult in order to be real. But healthy love is not built on suffering. It is built on trust, patience, consistency, respect. And one day, you will meet someone who communicates clearly instead of playing games. Someone who chooses honesty over manipulation. Someone who stays present instead of disappearing every time emotions become serious. That person exists. Do not let temporary heartbreak convince you otherwise. Now let me speak directly to the person who feels tired of waiting. You see everyone else entering relationships while you remain alone. You wonder why your story feels delayed. You question whether God forgot about you. But delays are not always punishments. Sometimes heaven slows things down because your future relationship carries greater purpose than you currently understand. Some connections are ordinary. Others change the direction of your entire life. And spiritually deep relationships often require preparation before they begin. Think about this. If you had met your future partner 3 years ago, would you have been emotionally ready? Would you have recognized healthy love? Would you have trusted it? Would you have protected it correctly? Maybe not. That is why timing matters so much. People focus only on finding love. But divine timing focuses on sustaining love. There is a difference. And the relationship meant for you is being built carefully, not carelessly. That is why some viewers feel such intense, emotional transformation lately. Your spirit is preparing for a major shift. Old emotional patterns are breaking. Old attachments are fading. Old wounds are surfacing for healing. And although it feels uncomfortable, this process is necessary. Because your next relationship cannot survive if your old fears remain completely unhealed. Now here comes another shocking truth. The right person may notice your soul before they fully notice your appearance. Yes, attraction matters. But spiritually aligned connections go deeper than physical beauty alone. Your future partner will be drawn toward your energy, your heart, your authenticity, your emotional depth. They will feel something around you that they cannot easily explain. And the same thing will happen to you. You may meet them during a random moment, a simple conversation, an ordinary day. But something inside you will quietly whisper, "This person feels different." That whisper matters. Many soulmate-level connections begin quietly before they become powerful. And if you have ever experienced a connection where time seemed to disappear during conversation, where eye contact felt strangely intense, where silence felt peaceful instead of awkward, then you already understand this energy. That kind of connection is rare. Not because it is dramatic, but because it feels emotionally natural. Now I want everyone listening to do something. Take a deep breath and think about the type of love you truly deserve. It's not the bare minimum. Not temporary attention. Not inconsistent affection. Real love. Love that supports your healing instead of worsening your wounds. Love that encourages your growth instead of limiting your potential. Love that brings peace into your life instead of emotional confusion. That kind of love exists. And if you believe it is coming into your life, comment, "I am ready for healthy love." Type it with faith. Type it with expectation. Type it like your future is already shifting. Because words shape the mindset. And mindset shapes emotional energy. The more you believe you deserve healthy love, the less likely you are to settle for toxic attachments. That matters deeply. Now let me tell you something many people will only understand later. The relationship God has planned for you will not just change your love life. It will change your entire emotional world. You will begin smiling differently, thinking differently, believing differently. You will stop seeing yourself through the eyes of people who failed to appreciate you. And slowly, your confidence will return. Not arrogance, not ego, healthy confidence. The kind that grows when somebody finally loves you correctly. And if you have spent years feeling emotionally invisible, that experience can feel life-changing. Because being truly understood heals parts of the soul words cannot fully describe. That is why I believe many people watching this are closer to their breakthrough than they realize. The signs are increasing. The emotional transformation is increasing. The spiritual awareness is increasing. And when all three begin aligning together, major life changes usually follow. So do not lose hope during this waiting season. Your story is still unfolding behind the scenes. God is still working even when you cannot see immediate results. And your future partner may already be moving toward your life step by step at this exact moment. Maybe they are healing too. Maybe they are praying too. Maybe they are wondering if someone like you even exists. And one day, your paths will finally cross at the exact moment heaven intended. Not too early. Not too late. Perfectly timed. If this message reaches your heart tonight, subscribe and become part of this spiritual family where healing, purpose, and divine love are discussed openly. Like this video if you believe your season of emotional confusion is ending. And before you leave, comment these powerful words. My love story is guided by God. Because sometimes the first step toward receiving your blessing is believing it is truly possible.